Well, let's get the thing rocking.
Oh, the words from the pages change your world. Your world can change your heart, can change your mind, can change your life. Can change your world.
All right, my beautiful people, thanks so much for tuning in. This is ERGJ, your certified financial educator and founder of New Black Wall Street, back with your New Black Wall Street virtual book club. We're going through the book, The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. That's right, The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. We are also into law number 35, picking up on part 2, where we left off at on Saturday, which is Master the Art of Timing. Master the Art of Timing. Now, today's episode is brought to you by Maximize Your Tax Refund. Black-owned author Yvette Best came up with a wonderful book to teach you about the 35 ways that you can get more out of your return now. I'm telling you guys, I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty sure you guys do not have a tax book in your library. Well, you want to go ahead and get that tax book for your library today. It's only $20. We got the signed copies by the author ready to go out. Signed copies by the author ready to go out. Miss Yvette Best has written a wonderful book, 35 surefire ways to get more from your return now. You go ahead and give us a call, 678-851-2400, or you can also just text us or inbox us your email address and your zip code. We can have this out to you today. $20 to get maximizing your tax refund, 35 surefire ways to get more from your return now. Black author. That's right, Black author. Go ahead and support those who support you. Let your dollars circulate within your very own community by practicing what you preach, which is group economics. Now, we are getting into, also just want to let you know the thing that's coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow, we have our true investment session. So if you're an individual saying you want to learn how you want to learn how to earn, how you can actually get some profit coming into your household, get another stream of income, you want to join us tomorrow for our true investment session. We're going to be talking from a for-profit side, which is you can create a business, you can become a distributor, whatever you want to do as far as capturing profit. And then from the nonprofit side, we're going to show the nonprofit organizations how you can use True to fundraise and to self-sustain yourself, to get that money that the government won't give you. So instead of just standing outside begging people to come get a car wash, you can give them something that they actually can use, which is detergent. And what I know is, as I look across the whole globe of America, everybody washes their clothes. So why not provide them with a household product that they can use and get value out of, which is the True detergent. So got the opportunity tomorrow. We can sign up for that right now. You can go learn how to capture profit. You can learn how to fundraise using the True brand. And that's just what we do. A Black-owned company that we can get behind and support, which I believe is going to be the first Black-owned Fortune 500 company in history if enough people get behind it with the True brand. So here's the deal. Make the switch to True. Now, we're getting into the 48 laws of power today. Again, that's what we're going to be talking about today, the 48 laws of power. And we're going through the mastering the art of timing. Mastering the art of timing. So I know you don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time. Law number 35, part number 2, let's get it. Let's just talk about where we left off at yesterday. We're talking about mastering the art of timing. Let's give you a judgment one more time. Never seem to be in a hurry. Hurrying betrays a lack of control of yourself and over time. Hurrying betrays a lack of control over yourself and over time. Always seem patient. And if you know that everything will come to you, as if you know everything will come to you eventually. Become a detective of the right moment. Sniff out the spirit of the times, the trends that will carry you to power. Learn to stand back when the time is not yet right and to strike fiercely when it has reached fruition. Now, the reason why we're reading this book, The Art of the Power, 48 Laws of Power, is you want to learn when to use and apply these laws to your life and also understand when these laws are being applied against you. See, this is your enemy's playbook. And if you learn the playbook, you learn all the plays, then you can understand when they're throwing an audible. So you want to always operate from a position of power. And one of those key positions is mastering the art of timing. Mastering the art of time. What's going on, T-Bone? Club Mill in the building. So as we got into the keys of power, we talked yesterday or talked on Saturday about the long time. This was us waiting. This was us planning out in the future. Slowing down time will give us perspective on the times we live in, letting us take a certain distance and putting us in a less emotionally charged position to see the shapes of things to come. Hurriers will often mistake surface phenomena for a real trend, seeing only what they want to see. How many guys got people in your life that see only what they want to see? They don't see the truth. They don't see reality. What they see is their perspective, which is only what they want to see. And because they can't see beyond the surface level, they always find themselves operating from a position of slave instead of a position of master. How much better to see what is really happening, even if it is unpleasant or makes your task harder. See, most people don't want to know the truth because the truth hurts. Most people don't want to accept the truth because it's unpleasant. So they rather live in their fantasy where they can have all the pleasure that they want, knowing that, not understanding that the pleasure that they want is actually hurting them in the long run. So we talked about the long time. So let's move on to the other two portions of time, which is forced time and then also end time. So forced time. The trick in forcing time is to upset the timing of others. The trick to forcing time is to upset the timing of others, to make them hurry, to make them wait, to make them abandon their own pace, to distort their perception of time. Now, as we talk about forcing time, ask yourself this. Is your time being forced, or are you the one that's forcing time? Do you get other people to move to your pace, or are you moving to the pace of others? Which position are you in your life? Are you in a position of slave, or are you in a position of master? Are you in a position of follower, or are you in a position of leader? Are you operating are you forcing the time of others, getting other people to move at your pace, or are you compensating, or are you making adjustments so that you can move at other people's pace? The trick in forcing time is to upset the timing of others, to make them hurry, to make them wait, to make them abandon their own pace, to distort their perception of time. By upsetting the timing of your opponent while you stay patient, you open up time for yourself, which is half the game. Half the game. In 1473, the great Turkish Sultan Mehmed the Conqueror invited negotiations with Hungary to end the off and on war the two countries had waged for years. When the Hungarian emissary arrived in Turkey to start the talks, Turkish officials humbly apologized. Mehmed had just left Istanbul, the capital, to battle his longtime foe Uzan Hasan, but he urgently wanted peace with Hungary and had asked that the emissary join him at the front. When the emissary arrived at the site of the fighting, Mehmed had already left it, moving eastward in pursuit of his swift foe. This happened several times. Wherever the emissary stopped, the Turkish lavished gifts and banquets on him in pleasurable but time-consuming ceremonies. Finally, Mehmed defeated Uzan and met with the emissary. Yet his terms for peace with Hungary were excessively harsh. After a few days, negotiations ended and the usual stalemate remained in place. But this was fine with Mehmed. In fact, he had planned it all the way along. Plotting his campaign against Uzan, he had seen that diverting his armies to the east would leave his western flank vulnerable. To prevent Hungary from taking advantage of his weakness and his preoccupation elsewhere, he first dangled the lure of peace before his enemy. Then he made them wait, all on his own terms. Everybody put in the comments below, on my own terms. On my own terms. How many guys have been in positions where people make you wait and wait and wait? Right? They can't make a decision. They want you waiting on them to make a decision before you can move to the next part of your life, or the next part of your deal, or the next part of your negotiation. Waiting and waiting. How many guys are operating on your own time and getting other people to operate on your time, or are you operating on the time of others? Are you in a position of follower, or are you in a position of leader? Are you operating from a position of power by forcing time? Making people wait is a powerful way of forcing time. as long as they do not figure out what you are up to. You control the clock. They linger in limbo and rapidly come unglued, opening up opportunities for you to strike. See, here's one thing that I don't do. I don't wait for people. People will waste your time if you allow them. People will force your time if you allow them. I do not wait for people. They will waste your time. But once you are in control of your own time, then you can force the time on other people. Making people wait is a powerful way of forcing time. As long as they do not figure out what you're up to, you control the clock. They linger in limbo and rapidly come unglued, opening up more opportunities for you to strike. The opposite effect is equally powerful. You make your opponents hurry. Start off your dealings with them slowly, then suddenly apply pressure, making them feel that everything is happening at once. People who lack the time to think, will make mistakes. So set their deadlines for them. Everybody put in the comments below, set their deadlines for them. You have to learn to do this. Sometimes you just have to set a deadline for other people for you to be able to complete whatever it is that you're looking to complete. This is all about a relationship. Some people just will wait. They just have no time management skills. So if you're a leader, sometimes you have to set deadlines for other people. This was the technique Machiavelli admired in Caesar Borgia, who during negotiations would suddenly press vehemently for a decision, upsetting his opponent's timing and patience. For who would dare make Cesare wait? Joseph Devine, the famous art dealer, knew that if he had given an indecisive buyer like John D. Rockefeller a deadline, the painting had to leave the country. Another tycoon was interested in it. The client would buy just in time. Freud noticed that patients who spent years in psychoanalysis without improvement would miraculously recover just in time if he fixed a definite date for the end of the therapy. Jacques Lacan, the famous French psychoanalyst, used variations on this tactic. He would sometimes end the customary hour session of therapy after only 10 minutes without warning. After this happened several times, the patient would realize that they had better make maximum use of the time rather than wasting much of the hour with a lot of talk that meant nothing. The deadline. Everybody put in the comments below the deadline. The deadline then is a powerful tool. Close off the vistas of indecision and force people to make up their damn minds or get to the point. Never let them make you play on their excruciating terms. Never give them time. Magicians and showmen are experts in forcing time. Houdini could often wriggle free of handcuffs in minutes, but he would draw the escape out to an hour, making the audience sweat as time came to an apparent standstill. Magicians have always known the best way to alter our perception of time is often to slow down the pace. Creating suspense brings time to a terrifying pause. The slower the magician's hands move, the easier it is to create the illusion of speed, making people think that the rabbit has appeared instantaneously. The great 19th century magician Jean-Robert Houdin took explicit notice of the effect. The more slowly a story is told, he said, the shorter it seems. The more slowly a story is told, the shorter it seems. Going slower also makes what you are doing more interesting. The audience yields to your pace, becomes entranced. It is a state in which time whizzes delightfully by. You must practice such illusions, which share in the hypnotist's power to alter perceptions of time. Force time. Set deadlines. Always operate from a position of power. When you force time, you're saying that I am the leader of this negotiation. I am the leader of this interaction. I am in control of my own time. And I'm going to basically make you operate under my own time. But it depends on where you are in the position. Are you in a position of power or are you not? That's really what it comes down to. When you are in position of power, you can make those demands and you can make those things happen on your time. And then we're going to talk about the end time. The end time. You can play the game with the utmost artistry, waiting patiently for the right moment to act, putting your competitors off their form by messing with their timing. But it won't mean anything unless you know how to finish. Everybody put in the comments below, finish. It means nothing. All of this play, all of this corporate politics, all of the negotiation, all of the business relationship, all of the marketing, all of the networking, it means nothing if you don't finish. You can play the game, but it won't mean anything unless you know how to finish, unless you know how to close the deal. It means nothing unless you know how to close the deal. See, many of you guys, let me talk about this for just a second, because many of you in business, you know how to do everything else except close the deal. You know how to network. You know how to make people feel good. You know how to get attention. You know how to have 10,000 followers. But for some reason, you can't get one of your followers to buy anything from you because you don't know how to close the deal. You don't know how to finish. See, I'm telling you, once you decide that you're going to become a finisher, all of that other stuff means nothing if you cannot finish, if you can't close the deal, if you can't make the sale. You got all of those followers, but you can't close the deal. You might need a little sales training. You might need to hire a closer in your organization. Do not be one of those people who look like paragons of patience, but are actually just afraid to bring things to a close. Patience is worthless unless combined with a willingness to fall ruthlessly on your opponent at the right moment. And I know he's saying opponent, but we're talking about sales transactions here. I mean, that's what he's talking about. You can be patient with that client all day long, give them all the leeway and all the leverage, but you never ask for the sale. What is wrong with you? Spending all this time with this person, answering all of their questions, making them feel so good and willing inside, but you never ask for the sale. You never put the pedal to the metal and say, we got to get this done. You never set a deadline. You never close the deal. You've made a friend, which is great, but you haven't made a customer or a client because you have a hard time asking for their business. You have a hard time closing the deal. You might want to hire a finisher in your organization. You can wait as long as necessary for the conclusion to come, but when it comes, it must come quickly. Use speed to paralyze your opponent or your potential customer. Cover up any mistakes you might make and impress people with an aura of authority and finality. With the patience of a snake charmer, you draw the snake out with calm and steady rhythms. Once the snake is out, though, would you dangle your foot above his deadly head? There's never a good reason to allow the slightest hitch in your end game. Everybody put in the comments below your end game. Your mastery of timing can really only be judged by how you work within time, how you quickly change the pace and bring things to a swift and definitive conclusion. Do you know how to close the deal? You mastered the long time. You've mastered the forced time. But have you mastered the end time? Do you know how to close the deal? Are you a finisher? See, we can no longer be a people who start something but do not finish it. We start with a march but do not finish with demands. We start with a rally but do not finish with some signed petition saying something has changed. See, we always starting stuff, but how many of you guys are finishing stuff? You started the business, right? But have you finished it? You know what I'm saying? You starting stuff, all of this good stuff that you're starting, but can you see it through to the end? How good is your end game? How good is your finisher? I mean, you know what? When you play Mortal Kombat, you do all that fighting back and forth, hitting them up and down, but then it says what at the end? Finish him. I'm telling you, as black people in business, you must have a Mortal Kombat mentality that you are going to finish the deal. stop marching, stop protesting, stop rallying if you're not going to finish the deal. Stop boycotting if you're not going to finish the deal. You must have a Mortal Kombat mentality when it comes to your sales, when it comes to your negotiation, when it comes to your business relationship. Can you close the deal? Have you mastered the art of the end time? You started the movement, but did you finish the movement? You started the race, but did you finish the race? You started college, but did you finish college? You know you can start, but the test of a real man and woman is, what did you finish? Now here's your image. It's the hawk. So imagine the hawk, the flying hawk, the bird. Patiently and silently, it circles the sky, high above, all seeing with its powerful eyes. Those below have no awareness that they are being tracked. Suddenly, when a moment arrives, the hawk swoops down with a speed that cannot be defended against. Before its prey knows what has happened, the bird's vice-like talons has carried it up into the sky. Here's your authority. There's a tide in the affairs of men, which taken at the flood leads on to fortune. Omitted of all the voyage of their life is bound in shallows and in misery. I don't know what that's saying. That's Julius Caesar. Now here's your reversal. Now we talked about the power. Here's actually how it might be in reverse. There's no power to be gained in letting go of the reins and adapting to whatever time brings. To some degree, you must guide time, or you will be its merciless victim. There is accordingly no reversal to this law. So in other laws, there's some things you got to consider. There's some reversals. And this saying is, when it comes to you managing time, when it comes to your long time, your forced time, and more importantly, the most important part, your end time, there is absolutely no reversal to this law. You must take control of your time. Then we'll read our judgment once again, guys, and then we'll wrap it up this morning. This wonderful, magnificent Monday. Master the art of timing. Never seem to be in a hurry. Hurrying betrays a lack of control over yourself and over time. Always seem patient, as if you know that everything will come to you eventually. Become a detective of the right moment. Sniff out the spirits of the times, the trends that will carry you to power. Learn to stand back when the time is not yet right, but then also learn to strike fiercely when it has reached fruition. Your long time, your forced time, and your end time. Do you know how to close the deal? Well, guys, this is ERGJ, your certified financial educator, founder of New Black Wall Street, saying thanks so much for tuning in today. Remember, today's episode has been brought to you by maximizing your tax refund. Black authored book, 35 surefire ways to get more from your return. You want to make sure you go ahead and sign up for our true investment session on Tuesday. We can learn about profit and nonprofit, how to capture profit and how to raise capital for your particular ventures using the True brand. Well, guys, remember this, that it takes a village and it starts with us. Let's build as we climb together. Have a great day.